Hey yo, what is up guys, it's your boy Tway here, and this will be a video on, well, the newest batch of soul weapons. And guess what, we got another leak and we can actually predict what is going on for the next coming batches as well. So some people are happy, some people are not, but let's get into the other leaks that we got. So currently we have another leak that came out that states that these heroes will be coming out as well. That is Nemael, May, Esker, Reyna, Tanya, Loman, Requina, Audie. Well, you guys can see it. So I'm basically really curious about Nikki, because Nikki is one of my IMF 5 setups, and the same could be said for Loman because he is well, one of the characters that I use for PvP. So I'm kind of like questioning whether they will be good or not. But that also comes with the question is what is still left, and that would be this. Wow, drawing arrows is not my strongest point. So these are the heroes that are left in the roster, and with that, everything is covered. Now, I know there are some Gladi players that are like, oh my god, motherfuckers, the last batch. Yes, okay, but on the 19th of November is the estimate date that this stuff will be coming out. And then 2 weeks after, 3rd of December, the other ones will be coming out. So look forward to that. We can only speculate on how they will look like, what they will do. But without further ado, let's go into some real shit. And that is the 4th batch. Now, I've already went over them, so I know which one is broken. And, well, Hippo stated already, like, the game is going on a down road. And I do want to emphasize on that a little bit. So let's bring out a calculator, and to get a fully second awaken item you need 7,000 tickets, and that is just by playing, right? So what you can get from IMS 6 is 75% or 75 tickets of them. Do that times 3, that's 225 tickets. So if we do, let's say this divided by 225, you get 31 weeks. That means that you spend the rubies every single time. Now that's how many months? 7.7 something. That's a lot to get a real advancement phase 2 fully loaded soul weapon. But what if you get the same 7,000? And I'm aiming for IMET 5 or IMET 8, right? So that means I get, instead of 225, I get 300 of them. That means I divide it by 1.3, I guess, and then we divide it by 4. It takes me roughly 6 months to get it, and that is even without all of the randoms that you can get, and probably, let's say, events that will be coming out and anything that comes with it. So I think Vespa will address the fact that it will take about 7 or like 6 to 8 months to get a fully advancement phase 2 weapon, because there is a broken one in this patch. So let's get over it one by one and let's see how far we can get. So basically we got the first one is Arch. Arch basically does damage, gets a debuff for 15 seconds, a judgment sigil, and I think part of the kit is where the sigil will actually stun people, whatever. And afterward you'll get a crit damage increase for 11 seconds. So it is a hit, crit damage increase for 11 seconds, and it charges up over 18 seconds. That's not a whole lot, so that's pretty good. It can be used 6 times. For the duration of the skill, the cooldown reduction is increased or decreased by 1 second every second. So it is 11 seconds minus everything globally. So let's check out how that looks like. So let's go to Arch. We got the Arch here, and we got Arch, and let's just check 25-second cooldown, 50-second cooldown, 6-second cooldown. And the Arbiter, this is one of his biggest skills because you get magic damage immunity to 5 seconds, so that is pretty strong. I would say that's looking pretty good. Is it top tier? I do not think so, but I could be wrong. So for the Arch players, please put it down into the comments. Do you like this one or not? And well, the duration of the attack deals extra damage. You get another sigil, and if you have a sigil, you deal extra damage that ignores defense. Now that is always beautiful. But the thing to me is like, well, yeah, it really has to do with the amplification of how much damage this will do. So I cannot really tell, but let's just move over to the next one. Oh, Ophelia. Now, Ophelia one is semi-broken. It's not amazingly broken, but this will definitely help in World Boss 1, and I think, no, in 3 it will not help as much. So let's go over it. You get a P defense increase, 10 seconds. You get a small range and a hit 20 times. Okay, it does damage, doesn't matter. Because the magic damage increased by 2% for 5 seconds. Now, the on-hit effect triggers that 5 second of debuffing, right? So that means the longer the skill takes to perform, the longer than the 5 seconds it will take to last. So this could be more than just the 5 seconds, because 5 seconds overall is not that much. However, you can put down the Ladia S3 down on top of that. So keep that in mind. It charges up over skill over 5 times. I don't think her cooldowns are all that high. Let me just double check before I just talk out of my ass like I usually do. Ophelia, we got some skills. We got 9-second cooldown, 20-second cooldown, and a 20-second cooldown. Okay, so charging this up may not be the easiest thing ever, but still. So on the advancement phase 1, you get stack on magic defense reduction, which is really good, because if you get a defense reduction, it will all lower. So it means 20% of magic damage amp and 20% defense reduction. Okay, that's good, but increases the duration of the insignias by 5 seconds. So that means this 5 seconds will be amped up twice as far, and you get, instead of 10 stacks, you can get 20 stacks, which means 20 times 2 becomes 40, and 40 on this, and that is really good. Would you just like take those 6 to 7 months to make all of this bullshit? I don't think so, but is it good? Yes, definitely, but only on advancement phase 2, I think. So let's move on over to the next one. And this is my boy Chase, and I'm semi-hype about this. And let me just hear me out on this one. So basically, you get damage, you get a knockdown, and afterwards you eat HP, 40% of your total max HP. Now this is some PvP bullshit. This is really good. You get an attack increase, 30%, and a heal rate, 30% extra. So basically, if you weren't healing yourself enough yet, guess what? You will be. So, oh my god, this will be really crazy. It lasts 10 seconds, charges up over 60 times, and I tried doing this with a trident to see how fast he will charge up onto PvP gear, and I can tell you this much: it is really fast. Now do take into account, if you take something like the cross pumpkin that does AoE damage over second, or you get the solar stone, you get damage over second, that means you will do as much as like 3 second startup and you get this soul weapon down. So that is insanely good. Advancement phase 1, you get, instead of 10 seconds, you get 15 seconds, and advancement phase 2 is where the real shit starts coming up, and that is bossing damage. Well, not even bossing damage, it is overall damage. That means PvP damage. Okay, that is insane. And you get attack on hit 10% chance, but it's only the normal attack, so everything else that comes with it doesn't really stun. Now if I compare this to Cecilia that attacks faster on the auto attack sequence, it will not happen all that much. So I would say the last part is a little bit of a gimmick, so I'm not liking that. Is it top tier? I'm not quite sure. I will be testing it out because I've got a selector down, and I will be using this for IMED 7 and 8, and this will allow him to survive on his own, which is really good. So let's move on to the next. Oh, Fluss. Now Fluss is one of those characters that I don't know whether it's going to be really good or just semi-trash, but I think it's going to be broken, because you get a buff for 10 seconds, and on those 10 seconds you get 50% normal attack increase. Now as far as I can tell, he's an auto attack character, so 50% overall damage increase, busted. Oh man, that is just that is going to be insane. But all of the skills, while having this effect, will do some other things. So basically flash tap, this is the first one that I'll talk about, is 100% crit damage increase. If the whole like 50% normal attack increase wasn't enough, you get crit damage on top of that. Wow. 16 attacks doing damage. I'm not quite sure how good this will be, because once again, we don't know really what the scaling will look like. But overall, a 250k attack, if you compare it to like chases, is really high. And the heal rate reduction, 30%, physical damage increase, wow. Ain't gonna lie, AoE attack on top of it, so that is looking really broken. But it charges up over 70 times, and I'm not quite sure how fast the auto attacks of Floss are, so I cannot really tell how good it is. Changes to 15 seconds. Now this is crazy, but here's the thing that I was talking about. Is you would say like, oh my god, would it be really good? Because if you get these skills, right, you still have to deal with the cooldowns. Because if you use all cooldowns, then use your skill, then guess what? You won't be having anything else. Skill cooldown, okay, 6 seconds is not a whole lot, 10 seconds not a whole lot, but 20 seconds is a whole lot. So guess what? On Advancement Phase 2, we got all of that bullshit down. For the duration of the skill, each attack has 100% chance to cooldown reduce the skill by 2%. So that means you hit 50 times, that is a 100% cooldown reduction. I don't know, guys, but this will be a broken PvP thing. Ain't gonna lie. Like, he is already doing damage. He will be doing more damage. And he will be cooldown reducing himself on top of everything. So Plus 1 is going to be, on paper, broken. Ain't gonna lie. Okay, next one up, Yuno. Now, Yuno is also one of those characters that I use, so I'm very looking forward to this. And I will go over some of the kit, because there is some hidden gimmicks to this. So basically says, you get a buff 10 seconds on Cooking of Heaven. You get defense increase on your allies with 50% and 3% of the attack. So the more attack that Yuno has, the more survivability that your team gets. Now this comes with a gimmick, especially when I use anything warrior. So if I open up a warrior, I check Castle down, I go to the Transcendence, and I look at the Offensive Guard. Now Offensive Guard raises attack while having P defense. So that means the more defense that you have, the better this will be. Okay, so that is something really broken. Now let's go back to the Cooking of Hell. Is increased attack 30%, and once again 3% attack increase. So the more attack that you have on you, the better it is. But here comes the gimmick. Upon using the skill, 2 or more stacks of excellent ingredient consumes the 2 stacks like it normally does, and it increases all of the effects by 50%. Now let's go over this for a second. So we go back to Yuno. Let's see, we go to Priest, we go to Yuno, and we go to Skills. So basically what it says, like, oh, okay, on the best dish you get another 50% on top of this. But guess what? If you get 2 stacks, it will double the increase. So that will mean 16k defense. And the question would be, would that be another one? So would that instead triple all of this bullshit? So that means 16, that would be 24k defense. Now that doesn't like sound like a whole lot, but once again, if you're rocking warriors, that could be pretty good. Now if you get this one, and this one is one of the most interesting ones, is okay, consumes 2 stacks and it double the P damage that enemies take. This is already 20%. This is already 20%, so that will be 40. Now, if it will triple, it will be 60. But guess what? On the Transcendence, we actually got some more bullshit. Because the attack increase will be 15% for the duration of the skill. Guess what? That would mean another 7.5 attack extra. That's 22.5% attack extra by just pulling down the skill. And you get a 25% physical damage increase on the Hell mode. So that means that if you look at the Yuno Spicy Special, that's 25% on top of this. That is 45 times 2 would be, guess what? Just about 90. Do that times 1.5, you get over 100 physical damage decrease. What the? increase, I mean. So that is looking really insane. Now, I don't even have to go over the other skill, but I can tell you this much. This stuff is going to be broken. Now, we haven't even talked about the advancement phase 1 and 2. So that means this one, on a very first phase, great. Absolutely great. It charges up over 7 times. Now, you know the spammability of skills, so that will be popped down instantaneously. The cooldown is not that high, so that's really good too. But guess what? On advancement phase 1, the requirements are 5 times. That means if you do a full rotation from S1, S2, S3, then go to the cooking of hell, then S1, S2, you can pop it. Now that is fucking broken, ain't gonna lie. So advancement phase 2, guess what? Cooking of Heaven, damage reduction 20%, so that will add up to more immortality of the game. So that will be absolutely sickening. And with the Cooking of Hell, you get your people doing more damage and everything. And the effect of excellent ingredients also apply to these effects. Like, wait. I don't know what the last part is really saying, because, well, let's not look over this. This one, broken. Absolutely broken. And now we come up to Kirti. Now this one is the biggest, well, broken motherfucker ever. And I will just tell you why. So, guess what? You get an additional magical damage effect to 10%. So this is the activation chance. So let's go over that for a little second. So we go up to Kirti, or is she? And there we go. Now, well, I cannot really check it over here. Let's go to the item index. We go to here. We go there. So it says normal attack and skills have 4% chance to deal additional damage equal to 500% of your attack. Now, if you amp this up, it goes to a 1,250% of your attack. Like, what the fuck? Now, what it also says, it is doubled against bosses. Now, do keep this in mind, guys. So this is 4%. And it's double, so that means 8%. Okay, so let's go back to whatever this is. So it says it will apply to 10%. So the normal 8% will become 20% of applying this bullshit. Now this sounds great, but it becomes better. Guess what? Advancement phase 1, you get attack stacked up to 50%. So that means that your base damage that was already taken for your unique weapon gets amped up by another fucking 50%. And that will be stacked onto your main fucking damage. Okay, this doesn't even make it broken, because advancement phase 2, it increases the duration by another 5 seconds. So that's 15 seconds. So that is a 1.5 times the original bullshit that we already had. Now guess what? The activation chance instead of 10% becomes 15%. So the usual 8% of proc rate that we had will become 30% proc rate on 100 or 1,250% damage onto a 5-star. I don't need to go over this any further. Broken. This one is probably one of the most broken in this whole batch. Aside from one that's still to come. So keep in mind that shit will even become more busted. Now Mitra is debatable. It charges up over 22 seconds. So this will not be used in PvP. Now you do not use her in PvP even if you look at all of these skills. So it hits. It increases damage. And you will do an additional damage every 3 seconds for 10 seconds. So this sounds like a Gangplank ultimate for the League of Legends players, right? You just pa 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 pa, and then you're basically done. And each hit will reduce or increase the P damage that is taken by the enemy for 5 seconds. So I would say on the last hit you get another 5 seconds here, so you may just get 14 seconds of 25% damage increase, which sounds good. Okay, the 25% damage increase will be added to 50%. Okay, that is good. And the cooldown reduces by 7 seconds, and that in PvP may just be enough for people to trigger it. But then again, Mitra is on a burst comp, so if you don't kill people on the first 3 seconds, then guess what? Chances are you die. So is this one really broken? It does the trick. It really does the trick, amps up the damage and whatsoever. But is it as busted as Nyx, where you have a semi-guaranteed way of using that skill? I'm not quite sure. I would not say. I think Nyx's is better than Miru's. I could be wrong. Okay, Mitra. Now this one is funny. This one is really funny because it says, okay, you get 10 seconds of, well, if you guys seen the picture, you get this. It's not Cerberus because that one has 3 heads. This one has 2, but it gets a buff 30%, and the Roar of Madness, it will attack 12 times. Now still we have to go over the amplifications of damage because we still don't really know. So for every death mark you get another additional 219 extra damage. So do this times 200, and I'm not good with math, so let me just get that one out. So the maximum stacks on Mitra are 200, and that means that the 219 times the 200 will be an additional almost 44k damage on top of this, times the 12 hits. Sounds like it's very good, but it could be total ass if the modifiers are not good enough. Advancement phase 1 increases damage to the roar by 70%, so that means that this total part will be added up to 70% extra, so times 1.7. Okay, so that's looking really good. For the duration of the skill, increases own damage dealt to the enemies by 30%. Now I'm not quite sure if that is included with the Velkinoth part, but overall boss damage increase onto Mitra should be pretty good. So this could be a really good artifact or a soul weapon, or it can be total ass depending on the modifiers on this skill. So yeah, keep that one in mind. Okay, now we go up to Roxas, and I should not even go over this because this one is ass. This one is on par with Luna. So basically what it does, it deals damage, it stuns them, and proportional to your all defense. Now Roxas is a tank. You're not supposed to be doing damage, and you will not be doing damage. It reduces the attack by 35% for 10 seconds. So overall, yes, this debuff is great. Will it be used? Yes, maybe, but I would say only in... Well, one of the things that I could see this being used is Terfos, actually. Guild Conquest 1. That means you may be able to survive another round with the attack reduction for 10 seconds. Okay. Should be debatable. It dispels positive effects from all enemies within range, so phase 1 seems ass. And changes of the requirements to 50 times instead of 80. And increases the damage, like for advancement phase 2, underwhelming, very underwhelming. So this one I would say total ass. Now Naya, I'm not sure how good it is because I'm not a Naya player. So for the people that play Naya, put something into the comments. I'd like to know if this is really good or not. But basically, onto activation, you stun all enemies for 4 seconds. Now that is broken. That is really broken, and it increases the P damage taken by all enemies by 20% for 10 seconds. That is great. Afterward, increases attack and attack speed for 10 seconds. So basically, you go Ultra Instinct and you stun people, and you can just kill people off of that. And guess what? The damage overall increase and the P damage. Okay, so advancement phase 1 seems good because there is part of me thinking that the 40% will be added on top of the 20%, so that is a 60% damage increase. Because if you get the other one, and I don't have an example right now, but normally the text would say changes the P defense that is increased to 40%, but it is increased by 40%, so that is 60 plus 40%, which is really good. Reduces cooldown onto 7 seconds after activation, gains 2 demonic blood stacks. Now that is part of a kit. Once again, I'm not a player, so I'm not quite sure, but a 22-second cooldown with 5 times doing a skill. Now pair this up with a character that does a lot of mana regeneration. Casting this bullshit should be really easy. Cooldown reduces one by 7 seconds, making this a 15-second cooldown. my god, this one will be broken at least in PvP. At least from the looks of it, right? So I'm digging that one. Ophelia. Now Ophelia, once again, I'm not an Ophelia player, so for the people that do play her, put something into the comments and see if you like it. But basically what it says is, you pop the skill, disregarding all current cards. Okay, afterwards you get a star card. I'm not quite sure what that is, but you get a star card. Great. Increases attack by 60%. Like we don't need that already, right? Ophelia does damage. And upon 10 seconds upon using a skill owning the star card, the effects of all bullshit will be added. So I'm thinking that the star card is not out right now. Let me just go and check. Like, I'm not an Ophelia player, so I cannot really tell, but we can always just look it up. Okay, so basically what it says, you got death, love, and fortune. And what the star card is doing is, let's say, okay, so you get a 30% increase, you get per second maximum HP heal, and you get M dodge chances increased by 20% or 200. That is really good. So the moment you pop this bullshit, you get all of these cards while owning the star card. And the star card will be consumed. So basically, if you pop the skill, you will be granting yourself all these buffs, like the extra attack buffs. Oh my god. That is ridiculous. And you get the 60% damage. Oh, and you get, upon activation, you get 3 orbs of mana. Oh, okay. Changes the activation requirements to 4 times. Oh. Yo, like, I'm not sure about PvE, but for PvP standards, popping those skills, I think, like, you're an Ophelia player, that means that you gotta kill people, but this sounds like this will be a huge damage boost increase. I could be wrong on this one, but it seems really good. Okay, let's move over to the next. Priscilla. Okay, let's see if you... Oh yeah, she's pretty busted as well. No, let's call it broken. So for 12 seconds you get an attack increase to attack of itself and the ally with the highest attack. So basically you're amping up your own bullshit and the one with the highest attack. So that means her amplification bullshit will become even further. Okay, crit damage will increase even further. Nice. Grant immunity to CC effects to an ally with a... Yo, this is broken. So if you use like Cecilia in PvP and you use Priscilla in PvP, and if you have them all up on bruiser bullshit, right? Cecilia having CC immunity for 12 seconds is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. And guess what? Advancement Phase 1 says reduces skill activation requirements by 4 seconds. So it takes 15 seconds to charge this up. Now 15 seconds if you are at a wall deck is not that much. That means if you make a Bruiser Cecilia pop a Priscilla on top of that, then it becomes even worse. For the duration of the skill, increases damage dealt by the ally with the highest attack by 4. This is overall damage. This is not an attack increase. This is not bossing damage. This is 30% increased damage to everything. This is like your Book of Math 5-star, 4-star actually. Yo, that one is a broken. Okay, Shay. Now I'm a 5-star Shay user, so let's see how good this is. Yeah, you get recover mana for 10 seconds every one. So you're recovering your own mana. Yay. Sounds good, but it doesn't seem all that much. Okay, for the duration of the skill, add the trans 3 stacks, increases all attack and defense. Once again, we talked about the defense for 25 attack and this. So that means that for 6 seconds you can be popping this. But that means that every single time that you pop a trans, you can get this effect. That means that on those 10 seconds, you can get another, if you time it correctly, another additional 6 seconds of popping that 25% extra, which is really good. It charges up over 7 times, which is also really good. And on trans 3 stack, it increases crit damage as well by 50%. That is what the... So look at advancement phase 2. Now this is what it was saying. It is not increased by, but it changes to. So that means this is the overall damage increase that you will get, or attack increase, if you get it to advancement phase 2. So that is 40% attack boost, defense boost 40%, the crit damage boost 80%. Now imagine, guys, I got a Glenwiz with an insane amount of defense. Her defense will stack attack onto all of your characters. Now if you got 300k defense, you pop yourself this skill on top of it, you get another almost 150k defense extra. Take 8% from that is the extra attack that you will be adding up to all of your characters once again. So it synergizes with everything. Oh my god, this will be insane. Okay, let's move over to the next, Veronica. And this is, I'm gonna spoil you guys, this one is the most broken one in the game. So basically what it says is you charge it up over 5 times. It's an 18-second cooldown. Now that is probably one of the lowest ones ever. It's 10 seconds of uptime. It gives you increasing damage of the ally with the highest attack by 75% and boss damage by 20%. Like, okay, if it wasn't broken already, let's go over something else. Oh, 4-second increase. Great. Oh, guess what? Increases the boost effect that ally has with the highest attack by 100%. So that means that the boss damage will be 100% increase, will be 40%. The attack will be 150%. I don't know, guys, but that is broken. That is a broken beyond repair. Now it does take you 6 months to get it, or you need to put down a car to get that. Like, put a car into the game, just shove it in there and like, oh, soul weapon. Oh my god. Okay, and going over to the last one, we got Veronica. It summons some things. It resets the cooldown of Binding Karma. Now I gotta just check her out, because what is the Binding Karma? It's one of her skills, I guess. Binding Karma. Okay, so it resets the S1. Okay, afterward, it attacks the enemy, dealing magic damage, reducing heal rate by 50%. That is a lot. Inflicting threat of destiny for 30 seconds. What the fuck? Yo, this one is broken on the very first phase, because it basically means that whenever you're popping your shield, you're popping your S3, getting the threads up, getting your S1 after that, just cutting them. That means that if you pop your soul weapon afterward, you can do that again afterward. Now the only upside to me is she's a burst type of character, and it charges up over 20 seconds. So will this be used in PvP? I don't think so. But will she be using this in the Sky one? I think so. This one is really broken. This one is really broken. Okay. Oh, let's check this one out. Advancement phase 2. Reduces skill activation requirements by 5 seconds. So that's a 50-second time. Now, I'm not sure how well that is, but all I can say, if you do not kill her within these 15 seconds, you're dead. Okay, guys, that basically concludes every single one of these things. There are some really broken ones. We got, especially Veronica up in the building. We got Kirti, we got Shay, we got Priscilla. Those are all just broken ones. We got Yuno up in the building, which seems broken. Flesh seems really good too. So yeah, like I said, let's conclude the video. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys want to add something to the discussion, do you feel like some are underwhelming or not, put it into the comments. Once again, this was Twiby. Peace.